And hey everyone, welcome. I'm Mia Voss. It's 2015, and you're watching a weekend edition of the Mia Connect Power Chat. Look at all these people I have in my panel, you guys. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. It is a busy crowd in here. I'm so glad to see everybody. I missed you guys so much, Backpack. I haven't seen you in 2 weeks since I was in Vegas, and I decided that, since I liked Vegas so much, I brought in 3 people that I met from Vegas, and they're in the panel, so you're gonna love it. So, guys, we're gonna talk about what's trending in 2015. Anything you can think of. I want to hear what you guys have to say too, Backpack. So get your comments going. Want to hear what you think is going to be big. Let's see if anybody is also going to pick up the fact that it is one of the years from, what was it, from Back to the Future. So I don't think we're wearing any of the outfits that they predicted, thank God. But they did predict tablets, just so I want to let you know that. So let's pull in the Backpack real quick before we get going. Look at Mick Sharp is in the audience. Hi, brother. What a way to kick off 2015. My girl, Barbara Sherry Rose. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, look it. I broke comment tracker already. Son of a... Did I not say, David, in the green room that I could possibly break it? I got 1 comment in, and that was it. So there you go, guys. You know it's not my show if something's not broken, falling apart, whatever you want to say. But I'm going to read some of them. How's that? So Sue Aston is here in the audience as well. And you guys, as soon as we're done with the show today, take your happy ass over to Sue Aston's show, because Phil, Sue, and their 2 kids are going to be doing live music along with Christine. I'm going to go jump on it. Sheffy's going to be there, the whole deal. Gina Fidel. I know you love you some Gina Fidel, don't you, David?
Absolutely.
Oh, my gosh. She's... Oh wait, I like you're getting cat bombed in the background.
Yeah, I am. There's no escaping it today.
I know. Let's bring out Bob Voss here just because we can. Bob Voss is in the house too. He says hey to everybody. Let's see who else. I know David Pipe is in the audience as well. Jamal is here. He says he's sorry he has a wheel clamp on the leg of his camel, and as soon as the traffic agent liberates it, he'll be there doing his best. So welcome. And you guys, these are all from all over the world that we have people piping in, so I'm loving it. Nazim is here, my brother from another mother over in Milan. Rain is here. She has a warm beverage ready. Hey, I want to know who's in their PJs today. Could you guys pop that in the comments too? Because I want to know. You guys, it's Sunday morning. I know you are. It's easy like Sunday morning, or at least in my world it is. Tanya Lumiere says Happy New Year. Mel is here. Esther Grandal, she says, you seriously interview the most fascinating people. Really? Wait till you get to know them, because these guys are awesome. So let's see if there's going to be anybody else that's in there. So listen, without further ado, because I have such a busy guest panel couch, you see it down there on the bottom, you guys, I'm going to jump through them and have everybody introduce themselves and tell them how kick butt they are, because, that's why I have such a crush, a girl squeal crush on all these people in my audience. So first I'm going to start. It's not going to be ladies first. It's going to be Zack Jones, the birthday boy. Hi, brother man. How are you?
What is up? How's it going?
Oh, good. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Wait, let me do this for you for your birthday. Ta-da! And I like how you got all kinds of stuff scritched on the board behind you, like you're just getting stuff done all the time.
Yeah, actually, that's a funny story. That doesn't come off. That's dry erase paint that wasn't very good. So that's going to be there forever. Don't let it fool you. It's like that
scene from Horrible Bosses when they're like kidnapped, and oh, you wrote it in permanent marker. That's you.
Right.
I hope those ideas come to fruition. So, listen, Mr. Project Woe Show, tell us about you. I met you at What If in Vegas and was so fascinated with what you're doing. So tell me about you, what you're doing, and where you're coming out of.
Cool. Right now I'm in Virginia, but I come out of Asheville, North Carolina. And Project Woe Show is my startup. What we do is we design small footprint homes inspired by the tiny house movement. And I'm just obsessed with tiny houses, and I had to make it my business. So
yes, and I got so excited. I was girl squealing. I was like, oh my, I love tiny homes. If you guys ever seen my Facebook page for my building inspection business, container homes, tiny homes, the whole thing, right? It's the business, and that's what you're doing.
It is. And remind me later. I definitely want to look through your Pinterest, because I know that we spent like an hour scrolling through Pinterest.
We did.
Looking at some beautiful tiny homes.
We did,
So,
yeah, we all got to hang out, which that was a great thing too at the What If conference. We got to all hang out together, and then we actually got to go over to the container park that's in downtown Vegas. So, I mean, I was beside myself. So, go check out Project Woe Show, and you guys go look on the event here. I posted a picture of the interior and the exterior of one of your tiny homes. So, yay!
awesome.
And happy birthday to you too. How old are you today, please?
I am 25.
Who's a baby? I feel like Old Man River here on this audio with this group today. David, help me out here. So.
yeah, I feel the same now. I'm not saying anything.
Like the crickets are chirping, like, don't say anything. Well, that's what I wanted to do, you guys, is bring on a variety of guests who run the gamut with age and what they're doing, and then, you know, top it off with me, the old biddy. So what do you want, right? All right, so next up, I'm going to go with Kira. Are you ready? I'm going to introduce you, Miss Kiragan Mercer. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, honey. Let me see if I can get my clapper going. Hold, please. And just so you guys know, I'm going to put Kiragan's information in here because the lower third wasn't working for her. She was ready to just, you're ready to slap it around. So Kiragan Mercer, tell us about you, what you're doing, and where you live.
So I live in Denver, Colorado.
Yay.
And so I want to be a YouTuber. So I'm an 8th grader, and when I'm not watching like a season a day of Netflix, I play basketball 4 times a week. So pretty busy, but
that is awesome. Tell me what some of the things that you watch on Netflix, though, if you're watching them.
I watch Dexter, and and I also watch Vampire Diaries, my favorite show.
I actually like that one too.
It's really good. They're really cute boys in it.
That's what makes the world go around. I'm just saying.
Basically.
That is awesome. Tell us what you want to do on YouTube as a YouTube sensation.
I want to do like DIY videos, and I also want to include like a segment where there's a lot of DIY YouTubers on there, and they do all these like intricate DIYs, and then you try to do it, and you're like, this is impossible. So I'll do like reviews on DIYs that are totally like uncut, just like me freaking out kind of.
That's what makes it, by the way. Do you guys agree? Those are the kind of stuff. I mean, look at me. Look at my lower third's not working. My tiara's gone. Jeebus. And I'm still making it happen. And it's uncut. So I love that, sweetie. I think that is the kind of stuff that is going to make, you know, that's what makes it. Especially, I love the idea of DIY fails, right?
Basically. I thought it would be kind of fun. I would enjoy watching those.
I think you're onto something for sure. So, all right. Well, welcome to the show, honey. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Yay! All right, another lady. I've got Rachel Jaffe in the house. Hi, girlfriend. How are you?
Great, great. Thank you for having me.
You too. Let me clap for you. Hold on. There it is. There it is. Tell us about you. I met you at What If as well a couple weeks ago, and you were blowing my socks off. Let's talk about you and where you are and what you do.
Yeah. So currently I'm home for winter break, but normally I am freezing my butt off in Ann Arbor. So I am a dual degree student at the University of Michigan, studying both urban planning and human-computer interaction. So within that, my thing is like smart cities and creating spaces that work better for people, and learning how emerging tech shapes how we interact with people in the world around us. So fun stuff.
Nerding out, same thing. You guys know my background. When Rachel was talking about that, of getting people actually interactive and involved in what's around them. You guys, I posted the video, and Rachel, I hope you don't mind. I posted your YouTube video that was for, oh God, what were you applying for? The New York City innovation. And so you guys go look at that, because that's Rachel talking about. Yeah, girlfriend, I snoop.
You did your research. No, I
Yeah, it's just my fun way of being nosy. But I love that you at the University of Michigan, you were empowering students, and that was wasn't it that you saw that they had this 50-year plan and didn't include any input from the students, right?
Yeah, that was actually when I was an undergrad. I saw that it was the administration that was crafting this entire 50-year plan, and I really want to help tech to promote civic engagement. So I chopped the plan up. I made it this really cool, fun science fiction story, but then I went one step further, and I put it on posters around campus. So people were suddenly interacting with the story in a new way, and like they were talking about these what's generally really boring, far off politics that no one really cares about. And suddenly they were having a lot of fun, and they finally felt connected to the school, even in 50 years. So that was a really, really great project.
Well, I'd love to see civic engagement trending from all different ages, not just people who are, involved with city governments and so forth, or even people that have businesses in cities, but from, from every age of them getting engaged. So, girlfriend, you're lighting a fire.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. All right, next step, and that, David, I'm going to leave you last. Let's just, let's go with age. All right.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Which means I'm going, listen, I snuck this guest in. Frank, welcome to the show. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you. 1 second. There we go. Again, you got two clapping. Again, if you guys aren't seeing a trend going on, these are three of the speakers that we saw at What If. Let's give a shout out to Matt Murray and to our girl that's in the audience. Felicia is there as well, that helped put that event together, that brought all you together. So holla to those guys. And Frank, you had an awesome presentation as well. So tell us about you, what you do, and where you at, where you be.
So, I'm in Los Angeles, California right now, back at home for winter break.
Nice.
So I'm enjoying the weather and dreading going back to Michigan.
Yeah. You and Rachel are going to pack your parkas.
Yeah.
Well, I'm usually in Ann Arbor, Michigan, studying there. I'm a master's urban planning student, and I work there and a few other places in Chicago and Los Angeles as a planning associate and also as a mentoring or educational consultant. I'm very passionate about education. The work I've done in the past has been helping students, primarily first-generation students and low-income students, get prepared for college and help them apply to scholarships, apply to school, and kind of navigate the process. And that's what my talk was about at the What If conference as well.
Oh my God, they got us all kinds of fired up, right, guys? So everybody who was there, I mean, what a unique idea. Now, Frank, there's nothing like this app that you're creating, right?
No, not that I know of. I'm trying to create an app that's kind of a resource guide for high school students that they can put their information in and look for schools that match them, and providing them with resources of how to fill out the FAFSA, how to go through the college application process, how to create a resume. Just very simple steps that every student should know and can ideally teach themselves. If they don't have a mentor or someone who's helping them out, then I want to provide them with the tools so they can do it for themselves and help progress themselves.
Boom, throws down the mic. Right? I mean, that is the best thing ever. You guys make sure to comment in here too as well if you're interested in getting in touch with Frank, because I'm thinking this is something that anyone can use, right? Or that you can encourage people. So yes, there's the end user, but then there's got to be different groups that you can introduce this to say, hey, use this app and get that word spread out, right?
Absolutely.
Woohoo! Goosebumps. I love it. Well, welcome. Thank you so much. And again, Frank and I just talked last night. I'm like, dude, come on the show. I don't care how crowded this couch is. Everybody can scoot over and make room for ourselves. So I'm loving it. And last but not least, one of my favorites who helped me end the year last year with my last social media power chat, and now you're on the Media Connect power chat. What up, David Amerland? Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm actually delighted to be here. There's some great guests, and I love the things they do.
I knew you would be. Wait, I need a clap for you, though, honey. Hold on. There. Woo! I didn't feel good till I clapped for you. I know, right? I thought you would be such a great addition with all these up-and-comers. So tell us what you're doing, because you have some exciting stuff going on.
I do. I'm sort of just finished a book, which is a rewrite of a book which was first written in 2010. And it's finally coming. It's about search engine optimization. It's very practical. It's coming out next week, all things being equal. And it sort of helps people take a very practical approach to the web. But apart from that, I'm in the process of taking off for San Francisco next week as part of the corporate talks I give to some of my clients. So it's going to be quite interesting. I'm really looking forward to that.
Hopping on a plane. You're going to be hopping. Did you get some rest, though, for the holiday season?
I did. I sort of slept for about 24 hours, which is about as much sleep as I had all year. Yeah.
You should have put that as your profile, like your status update, like.
Yeah. Finally, I've been asleep. Yeah. So yeah, I'm all, 2015 is it's going to be such an amazing year in terms of the challenges we face, and I think everyone on the panel right now is actually living that because they're very much part of the new. I was going to say the new generation. It sounds like a cliche. It's not really, but they're actually seeing a lot of the things which we're talking about. They're seeing them firsthand, and in terms of how they operate right now, I've got a lot to say about it because businesses are trying to copy that, funnily enough, and they're not they're not doing it very successfully. So it's going to be quite eye-opening. But anyway.
You know what, and I agree with you, and seriously, I love the kitty mom. She cannot get enough of her dad, I can tell. Like, she's just like, my dad's back. He's leaving again.
I know. She wants a laugh, really. She's wondering.
I can't tell if it's because you're back or because you're wearing black. And she did
yeah.
Like, oh, could that be the worst thing to go with my cat hair? Awesome, let me sit on you.
Yeah, that's right. She does it every time.
She really does. Listen, I think you opened up a great topic just to jump into. And listen, panel, this is a free-for-all, so don't hold back, party people. David's been on here, so he knows how it works. But I think you're right, David. I think this is something where companies are constantly trying to emulate sort of what the cool kids are doing, right?
Well, yeah, in many ways. I mean, I'll start with Kiragan because essentially she's absolutely right. If you go on YouTube, DIY videos are, they're sort of, you're drowning in them. So how do you stand out from that? And this is what usually happens. Somebody takes 100 takes, they get one perfect one, they put it out there, and they say, hey, it's not easy. Then you go home and try it, and you feel like a fool because it isn't easy. Then you get somebody like Kiragan who says, I did this, and it failed here and failed there. It becomes very authentic, very realistic. And then you follow her because you trust that kind of approach because it reflects how we would do it.
Right, and
that's very authentic. I mean, companies are trying to get back to that from the slick presentation of the past.
You know what? And we've been saying that for the past year, which I love that people are trying to move away from that. Obviously, I embrace it because nothing is slick about what's going on over here. But Kiragan's right. Like, and I want to ask you, Kiragan, and David, had sort of led you to that. Was there something specific that you saw that you were like, man, this doesn't work at all? So let's start with a kind of what was the impetus for it?
Spray paint. So there's these things where it's like you can get a wine bottle and then spray paint it, and it's so easy and beautiful. So I do it, and everything that could possibly go wrong with this beautiful spray paint wine bottle has gone wrong. Like the trash bag that I was using to protect the table flew up and then touched the thing, and then it was all ripped, and then the spray paint chipped off, and it was just like, oh my god, I'm totally done with this.
Oh, you know what? I think I agree, you guys. I feel like you could actually just do a show of the hot mess, which is again what I celebrate, of just like your hand stuck to something, like tape on your foot, and your mom. Shout out to my girl Stephanie that is like, what are you doing? And things are just a hot mess. So you guys comment backpack in here if you want to see that, because I do think that. I mean, and I think what you can also do maybe is take a Pinterest, because who's tried stuff on Pinterest and like,
oh my god,
and that doesn't look like that at all. In fact, one of my favorite things that I love to see is Pinterest fails of the two pictures right up next to each other. And what the Pinterest thing looks like. So I think that's fantastic. Hey, Kiragan, what are some of your favorite things that you like on that you think are successful on YouTube?
I think the YouTubers that are just really authentic, that don't really care who's watching or what's going on or if the video is perfect. I think that really stands out to me because it's like they don't really care, and it's just they're doing it for themselves instead of everybody else.
Yep. I agree. You guys jump in on that, the rest of the panel. Come on. Zack Jones' birthday boy. Don't hold back.
The authentic element is really... Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it seems like okay.
We rehearsed this, right?
Right, I'm putting the talking stick out now. You guys ever seen that where you your hand off the talking?
Go on, Zack.
Go you the stick right now. Here you go. It's totally yours. Go for it.
Thank you. The authenticity element is absolutely crucial, and you're saying they don't really care. They do actually. This is the difference. They actually do care about their audience in terms of they don't want to deceive them. They want to deliver real value as opposed to something which is very artificial. And that's what actually makes them stand out. And that's why they have a following, because people then trust them. And you only trust people I was going to say you like, but it's not really like. It's people you connect with at a very sort of emotive, empathetic level. And that's the difference. And if we think about anything which is happening in the marketing world right now, companies saying, how can we connect with our audience? And you say, well, be real, be people, don't be automatons, And they go, okay, we can do that, and
Hey, what's the algorithm for that?
yeah. How can we automate it?
Right. How can I put that in on Hootsuite and make it work? Well, it's back to the KLT, the know, like, trust, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And doing that.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, what do you got to say about that?
Well, I was going to say exactly what he was saying. There's businesses out there that are dying to get that, whatever it is, what is the formula to be authentic? What do we have to do? And it's funny because there is no formula, just be authentic, right? But I want to ask you, let's see, Kiragan, I want to ask you, what sort of things happen in YouTube videos that make you feel like you kind of trust the person? Like, what sort of, is there a certain, would you say maybe the way they speak, or maybe even the way it was recorded? What would you say maybe would be those key pieces?
Kind of when they show their human side, where it's like, where they're not like up on this high pedestal, where you're just like, how do I even match up to this person? Where it's just like small things like putting bloopers at the end, or just showing like who they really are instead of just like fakeness, I guess, from editing.
You know who are my favorites? Graveyard Girl. I don't know if you've ever seen her. She's just, and the thing that got me watching her, I don't know if you guys have ever seen her out there, is they have the stills that are on YouTube. Sometimes it's the most unattractive facial expression I've ever seen. And it's super intentional on her part, I can tell. And she does a lot of sort of like DIY, testing things out, makeup, things like that. She has the craziest large teeth I've ever seen. But I'm fascinated with her because it's the same thing. She's just very real. And then, of course, Jenna Marbles. I don't know if you guys...
Yes.
But I've just always liked her, too, which I love because I checked sort of the top trending on YouTube. And the top one, of course, it's mainly gamers, a lot of gamers, if you guys have seen that. And then also people that are like testing out toys and things like that. And then a couple of people doing sort of the real thing. So I really would love to see more of the real thing. Not that gaming is, don't let me piss anybody off about their gaming. But, it seems to be a little heavy on the top YouTube trending. Anybody in on that? What about Rachel or Frankie? Anything to say?
Yeah, I was just going to add that in general, there's this like flattening hierarchy between like who's creating content and who's consuming the content. So all of a sudden, like you have people actively jumping in all the time on your comments, and you're integrating that into your show. And so I think more and more media is going to become a conversation between who's creating the media and who's like reading and watching it. So I think that's really, really fascinating. I also watched a TED Talk just yesterday on like Norway has this 8-hour program just watching a train go down the track. And so that sounds really, really boring, but it gets people integrated into the media because everyone everywhere will know when this train is coming, and they'll run outside and they'll go and wave, and then all their friends will be like, hey, I just saw you on TV. And so it's more of a dialogue than just Hollywood. So I think that splintering is really cool, and it will definitely happen more and more often as everyone in the world will start having smartphones. So yeah.
Right, and everybody, Sarah Hill said it first with Google Hangouts, and that's what's funny. Again, on the whole, like, Back to the Future, that was one thing they predicted was more like the video conferencing, and hey, here it is. But Sarah Hill put it great when she says that everybody has their own broadcast tower. Yeah. Which I love. Now, that doesn't mean there's not a lot of weird stuff out there, but that's the secret sauce that we were mentioning, is that kind of thing of, like, just finding something super authentic. And Kira, you're saying the people don't care. It's more like, I don't care what the audience thinks who's not my audience. Like, that's that hyper-focused, I think, too, if you're going to create a brand on, like, find out what your audience is and then focus on that. And then the rest of it's like, I love it. Now, I love that flattening hierarchy. I just wrote that down.
Mia, it sounds like you've got all the right tools. You're super authentic, and you've got the inclusion going on here.
Well, then with the audience, thank you, brother. This is my, that's what I found. That's me talking to cool people doing cool shit. That's my new marketing. In case you guys haven't seen my 2015 marketing plan, Mia talking to cool people doing cool stuff. And here they are. See, I cleaned it up for you, just in case anybody.
Perfect.
And it's official. All right, Frank, what about you, honey? Is there anything on YouTube that, or you want to pipe in on the YouTube conversation?
I just wanted to add to what Rachel was saying, because I think especially with the app that I'm working on, one of the things I struggle with the most is how do I deliver this very confusing content to the students that I'm working with. There's so many questions that arise. How do I fill out financial aid information? How do I apply to different schools? What are the requirements for different schools? What is the difference between the ACT and the SAT? All these questions that come up, and I can make a YouTube video or I can make a DIY video and help students in that way, but I know just by making a generic video, it's not going to do enough, and that's where, like Rachel was saying, there needs to be that dialogue back and forth where a student who has a specific question that can only be answered by somebody who has been through that experience before or who knows that information very well, that is really what needs to be facilitated more of a dialogue, and trying to figure out the platforms that allow that dialogue to occur on a recurring basis and to bring that personal feel to it as well.
Well, that's where things grow. That's the algorithm right there, is that you're, instead of it just being this bullhorn, right, that you're just throwing out, you're right, this one instructional video, it really is about the connectivity. That is the theme I saw you guys too in doing research for the show, is that everybody that's doing really well, it's because they interact and they talk to their audience, or the people that are their target learners or their target audience. For sure. I love this. Mark Trappigan. Hey, brother. He's the one who came up with that, helped me come up with Backpack, just so you know. I got to give him a shout out. He says more and more people will be writing YouTube celebrity under occupation on their tax forms. That's a quote from Chris Brogan. I think that is very, very true. Let's give a couple other shout outs. Shannon Hernandez, hey bro, he's in the audience as well. Lynn Abate Johnson, who is the reason why I got to meet three of you guys in this panel as well, is in the audience. So hi, girlfriend. I love that. So any other comments on YouTube, you guys? Because I think that is sort of what is the trend, is what's going on YouTube, and then you see it disseminate in the rest of the world. That's my soapbox.
It is, yeah. Well, it's not so much YouTube. I mean, it's all about content, and the web is going very visual. I mean, you know, Hangouts case in point. You know, it becomes very easy to actually connect with people, and,
right.
And YouTube is a very handy platform because it's very versatile. You know, apart from just watching somebody do something, then you can comment and they can interact. You can reshare it. You can be embedded. You can, you know, take it over into another platform and share it with your friends. So it's that versatility which actually opens up the conversation. And Rachel quite rightly said about flattening the hierarchy. The defining line between content creators and content consumers is increasingly blurry, because, you know, if I take a video which somebody else has created and then blog about it and use that as a basis for something else, then the conversation expands, builds upon it, and it acquires aggregate value, which wouldn't have been possible, you know, 8 years ago even. So, you know, it's quite fascinating watching that evolve very quickly.
But I agree, and I'll tell you what, so let's talk about, so yeah, you're right, even 8 years ago, it's been fun to just see how things move so quickly. I'm going to just throw it out there in general. What do you guys think are going to be trending? Just give me, I'm going to open it up to you guys. What do you think will just really start trending this year? And it can be anything.
Well, in terms of trends, I mean, we see something which actually started back in 2009, which is personalization. And that is an ever-increasing trend which manifests itself in technology. You know, we're talking about now having Fitbands, which allow us to track our personal performance in terms of health and fitness. You know, smartwatches allow us to do a lot of other things. The divide between digital, as in I'm at home, I'm at my laptop, and the real world, as in I'm out there with my smartphone, is becoming increasingly blurred. So, but all this revolves around the person, and, you know, we have our own personal data cloud, and it's that data cloud which actually drives everything in terms of context and content. And we create content all the time, not just content as in content that can be consumed, but also content in terms of comments and interactions and sharing. That all that is a personal signal we put out there. So it's that digital identity, and that's what drives everything forward now.
And let's talk about wearable tech. So we mentioned that, the Fitbands and things like that, and and then we can loop into security as well, because it is sort of the Internet of Things. Like, everything is connected. So tell me what you guys think about the wearable technology. I keep joking it's like Flavor Flav when he's got that giant clock on him. That's what I think of when I think of wearable tech. Jump into that, you guys, and what you think.
Yeah. I'll jump in because I absolutely love wearable tech. So I have to say that so far, wearable tech I haven't found that useful, and it's mainly because we still don't have a lot of the infrastructure that makes it useful. Like most restaurants that you go into, you still can't scan a barcode on your watch to pay for everything. Starbucks is actually a big leader in getting the infrastructure to allow you to pay with a smartwatch. And so I'm really looking forward to Apple Watch, because Apple is one of those things that they generally aren't the first one to do things, but they're the ones that are the best at refining them and making them mainstream. So
it's almost like they're like, you start it and I'll finish it.
Exactly. So they're the ones that I think have the design thinking to get it so everyone in every restaurant allows you to pay with your Apple Watch, or actually gets app users to switch from mainly mobile to actually creating the apps that'll make a smartwatch a viable option to have. Because I think right now smartwatches go for like $150 to like $300, but the Apple smartwatch, they have ranges from like $250 to $2,000.
Right.
And to have something like that be useful, you really need the apps, and you really need to make it so people feel like their life is going to be so much better with this. So I'm really hoping that this year will be it, because last year it was supposed to be the year of the smartwatch, and it kind of fell out.
Yeah. It was a Flavor Flav clock.
It was a Flavor Flav clock. Yep. Sorry, anyone that has smartwatches. Sorry.
Yeah, waited to see the firestorm on the comments. I'm like, hey, I've got a smartwatch. Anyone else on that?
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
So being in middle school, you constantly hear about technology, and you see things all the time that are just like, you have to have this. And wearable tech you hear about all the time. Like, there's always people that are just like, dude, I'm getting an iWatch, and it's really exciting when, like, Fitbits, they're like a little band that you wear on your wrist that tracks like everything you do.
Right.
And they're pretty cool, but the problem that I have with them is that they're really expensive technology to get. Like, they'd be really cool to have if they weren't like $1 billion.
And I do agree that, like, so a lot of times, and you guys know this too, when you're upgrading your phones, like, I wait until they work out the bugs, right? So Kira, why would I spend all this money on something? And that's what Rachel's saying. Yeah, hasn't really kind of come to fruition yet. Anybody else on that?
Yeah, so I'm not so confident in the wearable tech stuff right now. And I say that because I remember being really excited about Google Glass, and a friend of mine had one, and I remember putting it on, and for about 10 minutes I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then I was just like, I don't want to wear this anymore. Like, I don't want this.
Well, and there was backlash on it too, so that's the tough part. That was the first one to come out, and then it really got a lot of backlash. I mean, everything from people getting, a woman got arrested. She wouldn't take her Google Glass off, so there was some of that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, like you said earlier, let's wait for the bugs to get, cleaned out. But also, like, because of the way the millennials think, we're early adopters for everything. People my age are like, oh, something new, let's go buy it. I don't care if it's broke. So they really have to get it right the first time. But I think the key to this is going to be a little bit of necessity, with these wearable tech, like talking about companies using any kind of tech where you can scan to pay and things like that. It almost has to feel, it doesn't have to be really a necessity, but it has to feel like a necessity to really fuel some of that for it to be a trend. I think I'm just not so confident in being a big thing yet, but I want it. I want it to be there, and I want it to be cool. So I hope.
Right. And, you know, Rachel, you made a good point of it being, you know, something that they just can't live without. But what's the difference in that? And David, I was thinking about this. You posted the Russell brand. I love Russell brand, by the way. I'm so fascinated with that guy. And I watched it on you posted it the other day. It was about the Budweiser commercial. Yes. And he just ripped it apart. But it was more about what the community or what these brands are creating this need for. So I think it's the same kind of thing. Like, are they creating something that really is going to solve your problems? Are they creating a need and then offering that product? Does that make sense? Like, and then
well,
it
does. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And really, I mean, it comes down to Zack is right in terms of there won't be widespread uptake unless there's a utility, a sense that it's a utility, like the internet, like laptops, like Hangouts on Air, tending to be that kind of thing. And at the moment they're not. They're a novelty. And I mean, I've got a smartwatch, right? And I find it minimally useful. I got it because it's part of my sort of the way I approach the domain, and I needed to know how it connects. So it's not like it's going to be super useful, and you know, I don't have it on right now, and I can go happily a whole month without actually using it. Mm-hmm. But the moment that you actually get to the stage where it does something for you which you find really useful, then you begin to use it without actually thinking about it. And the moment you do that, then like Google search, you can't live without it, because the moment it goes away, you actually have a hole in your life. We're not there yet, okay? It's very early days. But let's not forget that the technology is evolving in terms of a need. The need is, how do you manage the constant flow of data we live in? So wearable tech is there to address exactly that. And the potential for it to actually do a lot more is huge. You know, the moment, for instance, we have all the information, let's go on Fitbands, about the things which we do in terms of our health and how much we walk and how much we exercise, suddenly you have something that's been missing in your life. You have a structure around exercise. And at the moment we don't have that, right? We have a structure around meal time, so you know that if you missed a meal, you think, oh my God, I missed a meal, I need to make up for it. If you miss a day's exercise, you think, oh, well, you know, maybe I'll make up for it. But if there's a structure around it, then it becomes part of your life, which then makes you feel fitter and healthier, which has an impact in terms of your productivity and all sorts of things. Now, if we all get onto that, suddenly a lot about the world changes in terms of how we access medicine, how we access knowledge about all these things. So all these processes are linked, and they're catalytic. And we are at a nexus point right now. We are actually seeing them come in. So to us, it's like, oh yeah, you know, it'd be nice to have, we can do without it. Yes and yes. But 10 years down the line, it'll be a totally different picture. And that's what we should actually be looking at. And that world is coming. It's inevitable.
It's definitely not changing. My litmus test, or my way to see if it's working, is if I'm driving off the road trying to figure out how it works. I'm like the symbol girl, you know what I mean? Like, how tough is it me to figure this thing out? So, and if I'm like, what the? And then I'm like, you know, it's like the, you know, the tools drink, everybody. You know, all these new different tools. If I'm spending half an hour each time trying to how to efficiently use it, it's not efficient. Right? That's kind of my test. Let's jump into, let's really nerd out. You guys ready? 3D printing. Go. I can't. Oh, wait. Kiragan, I'm gonna let Kiragan go, and then Frank, you've been too quiet. We're on to you. Kiragan, have you seen anything with 3D printing at school?
No, but my brother talks about it, and he's in college, and it just seems really confusing to me. Like, how do you make that thing work? Does it even I don't know, I'm really old-fashioned. I prefer paper over technology.
Right. This is me. I was with 3D printing. I'm like, what? Literally head scratch. But I'll tell you what, I watched this guy. I love this guy. It's Robert Garrettson, did a TEDx Mohawk, which I love that name just for that. But this is how he said is digital printing is the ability to take digital information and create a physical object. I mean, I'm so fascinated with it, but I'm with you, Kira. My head doesn't quite get around it. Like, how am I going to make that piece of pizza or that cookie or that, you know, that fake arm? I was just hoping that they would get digital printing together in time to get Bob Voss a new leg, but that didn't happen. I was hoping he'd be like the first bionic cat. Damn it! But who wants to jump in on that, on digital printing? Because I find it so fascinating. Frank, you're on.
Well, so I'm urban planning student, and I work with a lot of architects, and I've done stuff in my previous program with some digital 3D printing. And I think it's just like you said with the you're making a pizza or something like that. You have the the framework, the basic framework, of the basic ingredients, and when you're working as a planner or as an architect, and you're trying to work with how spaces really interact with how people interact with spaces and how people are influenced by spaces. I think 3D printing has a lot of potential to really help us kind of figure out how to better shape our environment. I have not had enough experience with it to 3D print something myself, but I've been on teams in the past that have worked with 3D printers, and I'm still amazed by when the product comes out. It's amazing to see.
Yeah, it did. Right. Okay, go ahead. Jump in.
Oh no. Well, I've had a pretty good experience researching the future of 3D printers. So I think the personalized 3D printers are still a very, very, very long way off. The like $200 to $2,000 ones, they make very chintzy, very tiny toys that aren't that useful.
Like a coffee cup, right? That's what they're saying. Like, you can maybe do it for jewelry if you've got the right materials, right?
It's extremely expensive, and it doesn't have the software. So someone can take like a picture of an object and say, I want to create a 3D print of that. There's nothing like that yet. But where I think 3D printers have a ton of value add is for manufacturing and
Yes.
So you can go to a shoe store, and instead of just trying on your size, you can get like a shoe printed for you, or for automotive places.
You had me at shoe. You really had me at shoe. Just like, what?
Or for automotive places, there's a car part that doesn't exist anymore. They can print that, and they would probably be using like $500,000 printers. So it's much, much more expensive than individual people can have. But I think that's where 3D printing, at least for right now, is really going to be taking off in the next 5 to 10 years. So
that's a great point. That's what this Robert Gerritsen mentions. He's like, it's really more about waste reduction, sustainability dynamic, efficiency for parts, so you're not shipping things all over the place and digging and finding them and then creating waste, which, Zack, I know that's one of the big things with your company is you guys are about not creating waste in the construction or the building industry. So I think you're spot on that one too. I'm excited. Can't wait.
NASA do that? They emailed the spanner, didn't they?
They did what?
Station. They emailed the spanner to the space station because what happened was they needed a particular spanner to carry out some repairs, and usually they have to wait 6 to 9 months until the shipment goes up from Earth.
Yes.
But they actually have a 3D printer, right? So they emailed them the design.
That's so cool.
And they printed the spanner. So it's the first emailed spanner in history.
Oh my God, that is amazing. Well, you had us at NASA, and apparently we just need to go to Mark Trappigan's house because he has a 3D printer in his house, he says. His wife is part of an organization that creates simple, articulated prosthetic hands for child amputees. What?
Awesome.
That's crazy.
That is awesome. And then Richard O says there are also 3D printed human ears. So if anybody's feeling not good about their ears, apparently we can take care of that too.
If you want spoke ears, maybe.
If I wanted Vulcan ears, that's right. Well, listen, I think we should all steal each other's lunch money because clearly we're all geeking out on 3D printing. I do. I think it's just amazing. So real quick, one more thing. It is 44 past the hour. We're going to talk about one more thing, and it's going to be quick, but yeah, security hacking. How crazy has this kind of been? Like, I mean, it's pretty nuts. With the Sony, obviously Sony, Home Depot, I think Target got hit. I mean, this is something. Does anybody want to just jump in on that and more of a? I guess it would probably be more of a what not to do or how to protect yourself. But that Sony thing's pretty crazy. I mean, President Obama just put sanctions in against some companies in Korea as well. So North Korea. That's
right. Yeah. I mean, the web is supposed to be, it's supposed to be a relatively secure element, but it's not really. I mean, back in 2010, we had some industrial-grade encryption tools leaked from the former Eastern Europe to the West, and very powerful hacking tools, basically, which suddenly became widely available. And a lot of the security threats and the ongoing cybersecurity threat culture, which we've seen evolve since, dates back to that moment. And then as technology advances, the hacking element sort of seems to advance with it, pretty much in lockstep. So
Yeah.
there is no, I mean, ultimately, I suppose we have to come to the stage where we rely upon central providers to provide the kind of security. I mean, Google is probably the only company that hasn't been actively hacked recently.
Right.
And that's because of the constant culture of vigilance which they put there, and they actually take great pains not to sort of fall into that trap.
Well, just stop with the naked pictures, people. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, maybe there's an element to that as well.
I had to throw in a little something like that. But I agree. I think it's interesting. And by the way, Tanya Lumiere says, I could just 3D print my own tiara, but I thought I would put my real one on just because I was feeling so weird about it.
Yay!
Yeah, I know. I felt super. Speaking of naked pictures, that would have been a naked picture of me. I agree about that. What I think is interesting too, and I was just digging around on the Sony thing. Like it's interesting to see what the effect of it is too, because they literally had to go back and dig out these old BlackBerries that are in the basement and use them for the Sony execs to communicate with one another, because it wasn't on the Sony system and network. So anybody want to jump in on that, just for hacking and security?
Well, there's an element of securing a system is quite costly, and a lot of the companies which are operating today on a commercial level are taking shortcuts in areas which we don't actively see, and security is one of them. So I mean, Sony shouldn't have been surprised, right? It happened last year around the same time. Yep. They're a prime target. They should have been alert, and they weren't, and they got caught flat-footed again. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Apple. When the Apple iCloud was hacked, it was a known sort of vulnerability which had been around for months and months, and it was only a question of time. So really, if a company isn't being proactive, it's sending a message that essentially, it's looking perhaps to increase its profit margin more than it cares about the security of its end users. And ultimately, this is something which we need to take on board when we make purchasing decisions.
For everything, you guys, the rest of the panel, jump in on that too. From the younger perspective as well, it seems like it's just more this corporate thing, but I mean, especially with the the wearable technology and so forth, that can hit all of us. So is that something you guys want to jump in on that?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go.
No, unless you go. Pass the stick to you.
Rachel, talking stick.
Okay. So I absolutely love the idea of smart cities. However, that means more and more tech, more and more sensors, more ability for you to be tracked, more ability,
yes.
You can't have a sustainable, completely connected energy grid and not also have the ability for your entire energy grid to be hacked.
That's right.
So I think that this idea of security, that they have this, here we have our one security team and they'll do everything. Everyone instead needs to learn this culture of what to look for in suspicious emails, and everyone needs to constantly be encrypting their stuff. So I think that as we have it now, the internet is actually a very shaky infrastructure, and so we're going to have to completely revamp it and make it a lot more secure before we can move forward with depending completely on tech, which is definitely where I think we're headed.
And that was part of the hacking with Sony. They couldn't use their phones. They couldn't get to their email. It was basically everything that they do. So I agree with you on that. Zack, talking stick.
Yeah, so my thinking on it is, this is extremely powerful stuff. The technology we're using is, if you would have told someone 20 years ago this is going to happen, it would blow their minds. And with that kind of power, there's responsibility that we have to have, both as the company and as a user. Right, the companies have to say, we're dealing with millions of dollars that aren't ours. People are paying us, like Sony, right? They're getting these people buying games from them, and they're stepping and cutting corners around feet. Well, if they're doing it, I want to know. I want someone to white hat, hack it, let me know, get them to fix it. And then as a user, it's also important for us to remember, this technology, it can be dangerous, and we have to be really careful. Steps to be taken is change your password all the time, right?
Yep.
As much as you can.
Two-step verification. We had a comment in the thread as well, so I'm with you on that.
And think about what you're doing. If you're sitting in Starbucks and you're making a purchase, know that you're in a.
Don't transfer money in your bank on the Starbucks network, right?
Exactly. And some people don't think about those things, but it's important for us as we grow with this technology to say, don't forget. This is. I mean, we made this. It's going to have flaws. If there's one way in, then someone can get into it. So I think that's a big piece is this sort of education around responsibility. And when a big company gets hacked, I kind of grin a little bit because I know that someone out there is looking out for me. And that's the way I look at it. Even though my credit card information might be out there, I'm glad someone's pushing these companies to better their security. So.
That is a great way to look at that. I like that a lot. Way to put that positive spin on it. Birthday boy. Yeah, Kira.
So I think with that great power of more technology comes more responsibility. Like Zack was saying, how we need to change passwords and protect all of our stuff. And so the more that we upgrade and advance our technology, the more we have to be worried that it's going to be hacked or
yeah.
And so it's kind of scary, but it's also really cool at the same time to know that we're constantly advancing and we're constantly changing.
Yeah, but you know what? Boom, you just nailed it because I think that you're right. There's just more responsibility, and I love this because we're going to end on this note of empower yourself, party people. Right? Change your passwords, take care of yourself. Zach's right. I mean, watching the trends of who's getting hacked and how it's happening really is just a way for us to watch it and say, okay, ooh, cautionary tales almost. So, very fascinating. Well, listen, people. We are getting towards the end of the hour. David knows what's going to happen. You out there in the audience knows what's going to happen. We're going to segue with the traditional, old-fashioned, what's on the bottom. So instead of everybody standing up, let's just see, because I am in my PJs. Hey, and they matched. Everybody just show me a leg. What's on the bottom?
Oh, just jeans.
There you go. Well, it's 6 o'clock where you're at, or 7 o'clock. Oh, Zach's in. Oh, and I like his little sakis. Rachel, what you got? Do it again. Give me a little leg kick.
Yeah.
I love it. And Frank. Oh, wait, hold on. What is that?
These are the best fuzzy socks ever. Yeah.
You need to pack those when you go back to Michigan. All right, Frank, do it again, brother. Let me see. What was on the bottom?
I got pajamas on as well.
Yay! Big fans. Last but not least, Kier, what's happening over there?
Well, it's really cold in our house because it's really cold in Denver. And so I'm wearing some ski socks.
Nice.
That's the way to be. Way to prepare for it. I'm loving it. Well, listen, everyone. Thank you so much to all the backpack out there. They have just been going nuts. So, guys, as soon as we're done, I'm going to have all my panel pop over and comment to you as well and put their information in there. But it ain't done yet because we've got Bat Crap Crazy and Call to Action. So I'm going to start with David. What's your Bat Crap Crazy, David Amerland, and what's your call to action, please?
Bat Crap Crazy this year. Well, it's authenticity in our connections and how we connect. We sort of create relationships with each other, and that's what I really want for all of us to do this year. If we all manage to do that, it will really change a lot of things.
Well, and I loved your post, by the way, Pinky Swear. Go over and check out David's post. I love that, making the Pinky Swear of how we're connecting with one another. And where can we go find your new book when it comes out, please?
It'll be on Amazon and all the bookshops and probably Google Books as well. But I'll put an announcement on my website as soon as I have all the details.
Awesome. So that means go and subscribe at David's website so he can tell you when his book comes in. And that, what is that? davidamerland.com right there. Boom.
It is indeed, yes.
That is some branding. Just telling you. All right, Frank, darling, tell us what you're Bat Crap Crazy about and what you want us to do.
I'm Bat Crap Crazy about helping students, and I think I want my call to action is just to have all of us have so much experience, and just each day, for this year, try to reach out to someone who is younger than you or maybe at the same position that you've been in the past, and just reaching out to them and giving them advice, because that's one thing that I'm really passionate about, and I know that I wouldn't be here without that same support.
Oh, and thank you. You're at mentoring, and mentoring does not have to be formal, right? It starts with what you're saying, Frank. Just reach out and and give the info. Awesome. And where can we go to find you?
I am currently getting the MyEDU app up and running, so I will be in touch and be updating a new website for the app as well. So I'll be in touch and be updating that very soon.
And now, do you have a website we can go subscribe at, or just is there? Or do you just want people to? We'll put your email in, and you guys just reach out and say, Frank, I'm interested in updates on that on the comments here, and that way he can let you know, because that's big. That's gonna be crucial. So thank you for doing the work on that. Appreciate it. All right, Miss Kiragan, what are you bat crap crazy about, girlfriend?
I'm bat crap crazy about Netflix. It's
Me too.
my life.
Yay. And what's your call to action? I think I know what it is, but tell us what you want us to do.
Subscribe to me on YouTube. I haven't posted a video yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, you guys, you know what? So why don't you be an early subscriber and go subscribe at Kiragan, because I cannot wait to see what you're doing, girlfriend. I'm loving it. I love the idea, the more of like debunking the myths of what's not working on YouTube, including some eyeshadow videos, I hope, right? Need that. I think it's not important, but I think it is. All right, honey, thank you for joining us today. Yay. All right, Miss Rachel, what's your back crap crazy? What do you want us to do?
Yeah, so I'm crazy about location-based applications, and so this semester I'm hoping to create something where you walk close by someone and you can see if your research interests align with them. So instead of searching on LinkedIn or instead of running around the school to try to find people who you can start a project with, you can just go about your daily life. So I really hope that'll change how we connect to other people, and it'll lower the hierarchy of who has all this information about where the really great projects are and where the money is, and like smooth over the talent pipeline. So if people, yeah. So I need collaborators. I need coders. Funders would also be awesome. So this is being sponsored in part by the University of Michigan. I'm sure they would love if I could also find money to get this actually really, really started. So please email me at aliana@umich.edu. Should be right there. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I love it. It's like dating for interests.
Exactly.
Like an app, and I love it. It's going to cut through like, oh, you like that too, because you get that when you have conversation, but especially in the real world, you're not always going to connect with people. You're on your smartphone. Why not have your smartphone tell you that guy that just walked by is somebody that might be interesting? So I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And last but not least, the birthday boy. What are you bat crap crazy about, and what do you want us to do?
Man, I am totally bat crap crazy about the What If. I'm super stoked about what they're doing. Matt Murray is tearing it up. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be hanging out today, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I got 2 calls to action. If you don't know about the What If, check it out. I believe, Mia, you have a video where you did a power chat with him, I believe.
I did.
Worth checking out.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I will post that. That was from our show 2 weeks ago, guys, and there was some fun. Oh, so many good people on that one.
Absolutely. And then the next one is, I'm all about connecting this year. I just want to network like crazy. So after this video, send me an email, go to my website, whatever you want to do. Even if you want to just tell me that my board is funny looking or my hair's get a haircut. I don't care what it is. Let's chat. Find me at projectwoshow.com and then just hit the contact section. That's me.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys go and subscribe. Go check out the houses they're designing. He is in fuego, and you're going to love it. So, guys, that's it today. Here's my back crap crazy. It really is Russell Brand. I spent about an hour watching different interviews with him yesterday, and you may not agree with everything he says, but he really is kind of lighting things up. So if anybody knows Russell Brand and wants to have him come on my show, hey, bring it on. And then Downton Abbey, I think it starts again tonight. Eee, girl squeal, can't wait. And then please go to themiaconnect.com and subscribe so you can, just get to know me, and I'll send you really funny stuff. So that's it, guys. This is the weekend edition of the Mia Connect Power Chat. I have David Amerland, Frank Romo, Kiragan Mercer, Rachel Jaffe, and Zack Jones. And I'm Mia Voss. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
I want to do like DIY videos, and I also want to include like a segment where there's a lot of DIY YouTubers on there, and they do all these like intricate DIYs, and then you try to do it, and you're like, this is impossible. So I'll do like reviews on DIYs that are totally like uncut, just like me freaking out, kind of.
That's what makes it, by the way. Do you guys agree? Those are the kind of stuff. I mean, look at me. Look at my lower third's not working. My tiara's gone. Jeebus. And I'm still making it happen. And it's uncut. So I love that, sweetie. I think that is the kind of stuff that is going to make, you know, that's what makes it. Especially, I love the idea of DIY fails, right?
Basically. I thought it would be kind of fun. I would enjoy watching it.
I think you're onto something for sure. So, all right. Well, welcome to the show, honey. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Yay! All right, another lady. I've got Rachel Jaffe in the house. Hi, girlfriend. How are you?
Great, great. Thank you for having me.
You too. Let me clap for you. Hold on. There it is. There it is. Tell us about you. I met you at What If as well a couple weeks ago, and you were blowing my socks off. Let's talk about you and where you are and what you do.
Yeah. So currently I'm home for winter break, but normally I am freezing my butt off in Ann Arbor. So I am a dual degree student at the University of Michigan, studying both urban planning and human-computer interaction. So within that, my thing is like smart cities and creating spaces that work better for people, and learning how emerging tech shapes how we interact with people in the world around us. So fun stuff.
Nerding out, same thing. You guys know my background. When Rachel was talking about that, of getting people actually interactive and involved in what's around them. I posted the video, and Rachel, I hope you don't mind. I posted your YouTube video that was for, oh God, what were you applying for? The New York City innovation. And so you guys go look at that, because that's Rachel talking about. Yeah, girlfriend, I snoop.
You did your research. No, I
Yeah, it's just my fun way of being nosy. I love that you at the University of Michigan, you were empowering students, and that was what wasn't it that you saw that, and you guys, these are all from all over the world that we have people piping in, so I'm loving it. Nazim is here, my brother from another mother over in Milan. Rain is here. She has a warm beverage ready. Hey, I want to know who's in their PJs today. Could you guys pop that in the comments too? Because I want to know. You guys, it's Sunday morning. I know you are. It's easy like Sunday morning, or at least in my world it is. Tanya Lumiere says, Happy New Year. Mel is here. Esther Grandal, she says, you seriously interview the most fascinating people. Really? Wait till you get to know them, because these guys are awesome. So let's see if there's going to be anybody else that's in there. So listen, without further ado, because I have such a busy guest panel couch, you see it down there on the bottom, you guys? I'm going to jump through them and have everybody introduce themselves and tell them how kick butt they are, because, you know, that's why I have such a crush, a girl squeal crush on all these people in my audience. So first I'm going to start. It's not going to be ladies first. It's going to be Zack Jones, the birthday boy. Hi, brother man. How are you?
What is up? How's it going?
Oh, good. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Wait, let me do this for you for your birthday. Ta-da! And I like how you got all kinds of stuff scritched on the board behind you, like you're just getting stuff done all the time.
Yeah, actually, that's a funny story. That doesn't come off. That's dry erase paint that wasn't very good. So that's going to be different. Don't let it fool you. It's like
that scene from Horrible Bosses when they're like kidnap, and oh, you wrote it in permanent marker. That's you.
Right.
I hope those ideas come to fruition. So, listen, Mr. Project Woe Show, tell us about you. I met you at What If in Vegas and was so fascinated with what you're doing. So tell me about you, what you're doing, and where you're coming out of.
Cool. Right now I'm in Virginia, but I come out of Asheville, North Carolina, and Project Woe Show is my startup. What we do is we design small footprint homes inspired by the tiny house movement. And I'm just obsessed with tiny houses, and I had to make it my business. So
yes, and I got so excited. I was girl squealing. I was like, oh my, I love tiny homes. If you guys ever seen my Facebook page for my building inspection business, container homes, tiny homes, the whole thing, right? They had this 50-year plan and didn't include any input from the students, right?
Yeah, that was actually when I was an undergrad. I saw that it was the administration that was crafting this entire 50-year plan, and I really want to help tech to promote civic engagement. So I chopped the plan up. I made it this really cool, fun science fiction story, but then I went one step further and I put it on posters around campus. So people were suddenly interacting with the story in a new way, and like they were talking about these what's generally really boring, far-off politics that no one really cares about. And suddenly they were having a lot of fun, and they finally felt connected to the school, even in 50 years. So that was a really, really great project.
Well, I'd love to see civic engagement trending from all different ages, not just people who are, involved with city governments and so forth, or even people that have businesses in cities, but from every age of them getting engaged. So, girlfriend, you're lighting a fire.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. All right, next step, and that, David, I'm going to leave you last. Let's just, let's go with age. All right.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Which means I'm going, listen, I snuck this guest in. Frank, welcome to the show. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you. 1 second. There we go. Again, you got two clapping. Again, if you guys aren't seeing a trend going on, these are three of the speakers that we saw at What If. Let's give a shout out to Matt Murray and to our girl that's in the audience. Felicia is there as well, that helped put that event together, that brought all you together. So holla to those guys. And Frank, you had an awesome presentation as well. So tell us about you, what you do, and where you at, where you be.
So, I'm in Los Angeles, California right now, back at home for winter break.
Nice.
So I'm enjoying the weather and dreading going back to Michigan.
Yeah. You and Rachel are going to pack your parkas.
Yeah.
Well, I'm usually in Ann Arbor, Michigan, studying there. I'm a master's urban planning student, and I work there and a few other places in Chicago and Los Angeles as a planning associate.
It's the business, and that's what you're doing.
It is. It is. And remind me later, I definitely want to look through your Pinterest, because I know that we spent like an hour scrolling through Pinterest.
We did.
Looking at some beautiful tiny homes.
We did,
So-
yeah. We all got to hang out, which that was a great thing too at the What If conference. We got to all hang out together, and then we actually got to go over to the container park that's in downtown Vegas. So I mean, I was beside myself. So go check out Project Woe Show, and you guys go look on the event here. I posted a picture of the interior and the exterior of one of your tiny homes. So yay!
Awesome.
And happy birthday to you too. How old are you today, please?
I am 25.
Who's a baby? I feel like Old Man River here on this audio with this group today. David, help me out here. So.
Yeah, I feel the same now. I'm not saying anything.
I like the crickets are chirping, like, don't say anything. Well, that's what I wanted to do, you guys, is bring on a variety of guests who run the gamut with age and what they're doing, and then, top it off with me, the old biddy. So what do you want, right? All right, so next up, I'm going to go with Kira. Are you ready? I'm going to introduce you, Miss Kiragan Mercer. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, honey. Let me see if I can get my clapper going. Hold, please. And just so you guys know, I'm going to put Kiragan's information in here because the lower third wasn't working for her. She was ready to just, you're ready to slap it around. So Kiragan Mercer, tell us about you, what you're doing, and where you live.
So I live in Denver, Colorado.
Yay.
And so I want to be a YouTuber. So I'm an 8th grader, and when I'm not watching like a season a day of Netflix, I play basketball 4 times a week. So pretty busy, but
that is awesome. Tell me what some of the things that you watch on Netflix, though, if you're watching that.
I watch Dexter, and and I also watch Vampire Diaries, my favorite show.
I actually like that one too.
It's really good. They're really cute boys in it.
That's what makes the world go around. I'm just saying.
Basically.
That is awesome. Tell us what you want to do on YouTube as a YouTube sensation. And hey everyone, welcome, welcome. I'm Mia Voss. It's 2015, and you're watching a weekend edition of the Mia Connect Power Chat. Look at all these people I have in my panel, you guys. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. It is It is a busy, busy crowd in here. I'm so glad to see everybody. I missed you guys so much, Backpack. I haven't seen you in 2 weeks since I was in Vegas, and I decided that, you know, since I liked Vegas so much, I brought in 3 people that I met from Vegas, and they're in the panel, so you're gonna love it. So, guys, we're gonna talk about what's trending in 2015. Anything you can think of. I want to hear what you guys have to say too, Backpack. So get your comments going. Want to hear what you think is going to be big. Let's see if anybody is also going to pick up the fact that it is one of the years from, what was it, from Back to the Future. So I don't think we're wearing any of the outfits that they predicted, thank God. But they did predict tablets, just so I want to let you know that. So let's pull in the Backpack real quick before we get going. Look at Mick Sharp is in the audience. Hi, brother. What a way to kick off 2015. My girl, Barbara Sherry Rose. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, look it. I broke comment tracker already. Son of a... Did I not say, David, in the green room that I could possibly break it? Oh, I got 1 comment in, and that was it. So there you go, guys. You know it's not my show if something's not broken, falling apart, whatever you want to say. But I'm going to read some of them. How's that? So Sue Aston is here in the audience as well. And you guys, as soon as we're done with the show today, take your happy ass over to Sue Aston's show, because Phil, Sue, and their 2 kids are going to be doing live music along with Christine. I'm going to go jump on it. Jeffy's going to be there, the whole deal. Gina Fidel. I know you love you some Gina Fidel, don't you, David?
Absolutely.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, wait, I like you're getting cat bombed in the background.
Yeah. There's no escaping it today.
I know. Let's bring out Bob Voss here just because we can. Bob Voss is in the house, too. He says hey to everybody. Let's see who else. I know David Pipe is in the audience as well. Jamal is here. He says he's sorry he has a wheel clamp on the leg of his camel, and as soon as the traffic agent liberates it, he'll be there doing his best. So welcome.